The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. The 4-Hour Workweek from 2007 advocates the idea of the new rich. These are the people who abandon their jobs as modern desk slaves and instead live a life that is all about enjoying the moment while still achieving big goals. Who should read this? Anyone who wants to join the new rich, those who live a splendid life without working more than a few hours per week, and anyone questioning the notion of a 9-to-5 office job. Who wrote the book? Tim Ferriss is an American entrepreneur and writer. After founding a company in 2001, he worked so hard that a burnout forced him to take a break. He then took off to travel the world and was surprised to find he could run a profitable business from anywhere in the world and with only a few hours of work per week. He wrote the 4-Hour Workweek based on this experience. What's in it for me? Attain the lifestyle you want, become more productive, and automate your income stream. If you could have any life you wanted, where would you be right now? On a yacht somewhere in the Caribbean? Maybe scaling a Swiss mountain or whitewater rafting in Costa Rica. Whatever your dream is, these blinks will show you how to plot a roadmap there. You'll find out how any corporate cubicle jockey can first become more productive, then cut back their working time, and eventually break free from their day job entirely to pursue their dream. In these blinks, you'll learn why the worst case scenario is almost never as bad as you think, how you can become an expert in anything, and why you should strive to read your emails only once a week. To the new rich, being rich means living a splendid life right here, right now. Lots of people think it's worth their while to live a life of drudgery today, just to have some golden, wealthy years of retirement somewhere in the distant future. Millions of modern desk slaves sacrifice their best years working in jobs they don't enjoy. To maintain faith in what they are doing, they trick themselves into believing that work has to be hard and that they will be paid back at some point in the future. In reality, they end up deferring everything joyful in their lives only to wake up one day and realize that the good times never materialized. The new rich do not accept this way of life. They abandon their desk slave jobs and choose a lush lifestyle here and now. Becoming one of the new rich doesn't mean you need millions of dollars under your mattress. A fulfilling life is often much cheaper than people think. The things you're dreaming of, such as taking trips around the world or having lots of time for hobbies, are by no means exclusive to millionaires. These things are also available to the new rich, and they do not need millions to enjoy them. What you really need is to be mobile and flexible. You need to be able to do whatever you like, whenever you like. This usually requires only a moderate automatic income, a source of money you can maintain effortlessly from anywhere in the world. This is the key to living exactly the life you want to. Write your own rules and always aim high. The new rich never follow someone else's rules unquestioningly. Instead, they write their own, ignore conventional expectations, and are willing to step on people's toes when necessary. Adopt this mindset, and you, too, can aim high and accomplish even the biggest goals, the so-called unrealistic things such as traveling the world, becoming the world champion in tango dancing, or learning a new language every year. Aiming high will set you apart from all those who think realistically and settle for mediocrity. In fact, since most people settle for good rather than aim for great, the competition for good goals is often far more fierce. Unrealistic things might be easier to accomplish than you think, because only a few dare to think big. It's often lonely at the top, meaning less competition for you. While most people tend to overestimate the risks of dreaming big and aiming high, the new rich try to understand what the worst case outcome of any gutsy decision could be. For example, if you decided to travel the world right now and everything went wrong, what is the worst that could happen? Intuitively, most people dread a journey into the unknown, but often this is simply because they never consider the true risks they are facing. When you take a critical look at the risks, you often find out that even the worst case catastrophe is not the end of the world at all. For example, if you lose all your money and discover your journey isn't going as expected, you can always cancel it and start something new. Adopt this mindset, and you will find the calm that is helping the new rich conquer the world. Take action today and step outside your comfort zone. Instead of living their dreams, most people spend their lives running away from them. They take the safe road and live a life of drudgery, drawing comfort from the illusion that at least they will enjoy their retirement. If you want to join the new rich, you have to stop lying to yourself. The right moment to start living your dreams is right now. Forget about the sentence, "I'll do this tomorrow." You need to start doing the right things today. To do this, you must be willing to cross the boundaries of your comfort zone. Staying within your comfort zone allows you to constantly lie to yourself, so you can maintain a blind faith that everything is going to be good someday, somehow. This way of thinking is often mistakenly labeled as optimism, but in fact, it's mental laziness. It comes from a fear of the challenges you must face if you want to achieve your big goals in life. Face your fears. Do something that scares you every day. Living a successful life means always being willing to do unpleasant things, to have unpleasant conversations, and to disregard the conventions other people stick to. When you see an attractive stranger on the street who you would like to meet, don't be like most people and feel too intimidated to even approach them. Why not just go ahead and start a conversation? What we fear doing the most is often exactly the thing we should do to turn our dreams into a reality. The most dangerous thing you can do is to do nothing and wait and see. What we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. Even as an employee, you can live the life of the new rich. The life of the new rich is mainly characterized by unlimited mobility. This means giving up the life of a desk slave. But not everyone feels they can take that step. The good news is that even as an employee, you can travel the world. Just try to gain maximal freedom within the boundaries of a corporation. How do you achieve this? First of all, make yourself indispensable. Have your company invest money into you, attend trainings, and become an expert they can't afford to lose. The moment you've become indispensable, start selling your boss on the idea of remote work. That is, working from home or from anywhere else in the world. Try to keep the transition to remote work as smooth as possible, since most managers won't like the idea at first. This can mean suggesting a test period to start with. For instance, you might suggest that you work remotely 1 day per week for just a couple of weeks, after which you meet with your boss to discuss how it went. During this test period, make sure you prove how much more productive you are while working from home. And you should be, because there are far fewer distractions at home than at the office. Since you don't have to waste half your day commuting, chatting to colleagues, or attending useless meetings, you should get much more done in the same amount of time. After successfully proving this to your boss, expand the amount of remote work step by step until one fine day, you don't have to show up at the office ever again. Be effective, not efficient. Don't do everything right. Do the right things. Time is not a good indicator of productivity. Spending a lot of time working does not mean you're doing the right things or that you're doing them in the right way. In today's workplaces, it's hard to measure the productivity of a white-collar worker. Time spent at the office is the most obvious indicator, which is why it's such a popular metric to use. However, employees need only to appear busy by filling their day with pointless tasks and spending as much time at the office as possible to trick their bosses into believing they are doing a great job. The new rich, on the other hand, reject all the limitations and absurd rules of corporate jobs. To them, being productive means getting as much done as possible with as little work as possible. There's no point being concerned with efficiency, which means getting things done as quickly as possible. Unimportant tasks are still unimportant, even when you deal with them efficiently. Your time is better spent on important tasks, on being effective. Focus on only those tasks that will bring you closer to your personal goals and dreams. To focus on the important things, use the 80-20 rule. In most situations, 20% of the work produces 80% of the results. The rest of the work, most of what we do, usually has very little effect. Hence, make good use of your time by focusing on the tasks that have the greatest impact. If you get rid of everything else, you can spend the time you gain on important tasks, pleasant pastimes, or both. Focus on being productive instead of busy. Time is money. Get rid of time thieves and go on a low information diet. Most of the things people do during a regular workday have no impact whatsoever. Hence, getting rid of them doesn't decrease the quality of your work, but does save time. For example, collecting information by reading newspapers takes a lot of time. Go on a low information diet and focus on obtaining only the small amount of information that is actually relevant to your work. And make sure you get this information in the most efficient way. Don't spend hours researching a topic when instead you can call on an expert to answer even complex questions quickly. This saves time and often provides better results. During an average workday, you'll likely encounter many time thieves, activities, or people that use up your precious time while giving very little in return. Get rid of them. Meetings, for example, are like black holes where time and energy disappear, and most are completely unnecessary anyway. In fact, the only time a meeting is appropriate is when a decision calls for input from several people. If this is the case, make sure there is an agenda and a fixed schedule to keep participants focused on results and to stop them from babbling. Never attend meetings when you're not absolutely indispensable. If the meeting is successful without you, then apparently you can skip future meetings as well. The same goes for pointless chatter with colleagues. Avoid it or focus on the subject at hand. When people approach you, don't ask, "How are you?" but rather, "What can I do for you?" Tell people up front, "Sorry, but I only have 2 minutes. So let's get down to business." Get rid of distractions like emails and have others play by your rules. To the new rich, being productive means achieving a lot with as little work as possible. This means focusing on things that bring you closer to your personal goals. If you want to know how important a task is, ask yourself, if this was the only thing I did today, would I be happy with this day? Whenever your answer is yes, make that task a priority and ensure high priority tasks get done before any others. In an ideal workday, you will accomplish all your important goals before lunch. Never start your day by checking emails. Emails are time thieves, so give them as little attention as possible. If you have to check them, do so only twice a day, once before lunch and once in the evening. Then move to reading them only once per week. Make your new policy known. Create an auto response that tells people your time is too limited and valuable to spend checking emails all day, and therefore your response may take some time. Make sure people don't start calling you over every minor question they have, thus constantly interrupting your concentration. Most things can wait. Have people leave you messages via email or recorded voicemails, which you will check once your more important tasks are done. Only urgent things should be an excuse for interrupting you. This also means you can bundle tasks. Set aside a fixed period of time to deal with all the small tasks that have accumulated on your to-do list, rather than allowing them to interrupt you constantly while you are working on something important. Set up a business that brings a steady stream of income and works without you. If you want to earn a living while only working a few hours per week, you need an automatic source of income. This means you have to make other people work for you and get them to invest their time instead of you having to invest yours. Today, it's fairly easy to set up a business that can run without much involvement from you. Decide what work is required for the business to operate smoothly. Divide it up according to type and find an expert to manage each area. Today, most things can be outsourced. There are many companies that specialize in manufacturing products, shipping them, or doing after-sales service, among many other things. Even complex and ever-changing tasks can be outsourced. Virtual assistants from India, for instance, are often cheap yet highly professional. Such a personal assistant can do nearly everything you would usually do yourself. As long as the task and its goals are crystal clear, they will get it done without your help. By setting up a business in which every task is outsourced to an expert, you can make your involvement almost completely unnecessary. To achieve this, keep two things in mind. First, everyone has to be able to communicate with one another without you as an intermediary. Don't make yourself a bottleneck in any part of the process. Second, delegate responsibilities. People can solve most problems without your help if you just let them. You'd be surprised at how smart people are once you ask them to take over certain responsibilities and make their own decisions. Find a product and test whether there's a market for it. To create an automated income, the first thing you need is a product. One option is to simply resell a product that already exists in the marketplace. This is fairly easy, but the potential profits may be quite limited. Hence, it often pays to create your own product. This is much easier than most people think. It usually takes only a few brainstorming sessions to come up with a plethora of ideas. Before you choose a product and start manufacturing it, you need to know whether your potential customer base is large enough to make it successful. Having a product is not enough. You need customers too. To test the market, offer your hypothetical product to real customers. One way to do this is to create a fake web store that does everything a real web store would do, except that after people click purchase, a message tells them the product is currently out of stock. This will show you how many people are willing to buy your product. Make sure you collect the email addresses of these hypothetical customers, though, so you can tell them once your product is actually available. Another way of testing your product is to set up fake online advertising campaigns. Compare several ads to see which versions of your product generate the best response and lead people to click purchase most often. Tim Ferriss used this approach to find the best title for his book. Out of several options, the 4-Hour Workweek got the most clicks. Like him, you should never start selling a product without first testing whether there are customers for it. Be a professional, act like one, and be picky about your customers. No matter what kind of product you want to sell, you must be credible in the eyes of your customers. They have to trust you in order to trust your product. Academic titles such as PhDs are always a good way to make yourself more credible, but you can also prove your expertise by writing articles about topics related to your product or by holding related seminars. In other words, if you want to sell health products, make sure you become a health guru first. Also, people tend to trust larger companies more than they trust small ones. Hence, always try to make your company appear bigger than it is. Whether it's true or not, give people the impression they are dealing with a company with many employees. For instance, provide several contact email addresses on your website. Use titles that sound like middle management, such as head of customer support, to give the impression there's a multi-layer hierarchy with lots of employees in the company. Overall, you should aim at being a solid professional. Always act like one, and use high standards when choosing your customers. The 80-20 rule applies to customers as well as to productivity. 20% of the customers are often responsible for 80% of the revenue. And likewise, another 20% are responsible for 80% of the trouble, complaints, and stress you endure. Find out which of your customers are responsible for your revenues and attend to them. Meanwhile, get rid of the customers that account for little revenue but create a lot of trouble. Poisonous people do not deserve your time. To think otherwise is masochistic. Go premium, make a big promise, and keep it. Once you've found the right product, you still have to think about several other aspects of your automatic income generator. To sell your product, you must be able to promise your customers big benefits from using it, and you must keep this promise. Only when you're able to summarize these benefits in one simple sentence should you start selling it. Make it as easy as possible for your customers to buy your product without them having to make a bunch of decisions first. The more choices a customer has, for example, between colors, the more likely he will cancel the purchase and walk away. Finding profitable customers often means choosing a premium segment. Ask for a premium price and create a premium image so that you can earn greater margins and thus build a more profitable business. The higher the profit on your products, the fewer you need to sell to meet your income goals, and hence the fewer customers you'll need to deal with. Also, the people willing to pay a higher price are often those who are the least likely to cause trouble, complain, or return your products. If they buy premium, they probably don't have to watch every penny. So even if a product doesn't meet their expectations, they probably won't bother returning it. You can even risk offering these customers a full refund plus extra compensation if they want to return your product. If you pick the right customers, they won't take unfair advantage of this offer. Rather, they will trust you and your product even more. Final summary. The key message in this book. Instead of living the 9-to-5 life of a desk slave, join the new rich. Create an automated income and enjoy a full life here and now. Actionable advice. Stop checking your emails in the morning and get your important tasks done by lunch. If you're like most people, you probably check your emails first thing in the morning. This is a mistake because your mornings should be dedicated to the highest priority tasks you have for the day, and checking your inbox will only slow you down. Ideally, you'll have all your crucial tasks done by lunch, and the rest of the day will be just gravy. Suggested further reading. Quitter by John Acuff. Finding out where you really want to be in life requires patience, hard work, and planning. But anyone can do it with the right dedication. Filled with many personal anecdotes from a 12-year span of job hopping, Quitter shows you the smartest way to quit your day job for your dream job.